Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Juno, come here. Come here, Bean.
Juno is
Juno.
that meme of the thing that says the horrors persist, but so do
Juno.
I.
Come here, Juno.
She doesn't want to come in. She hates it. Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
Board games.
And
I'm cold.
Jeff is cold all of the time. We're in that weird transitional period between winter and spring where it was cold and snowing yesterday, and today it's 14 degrees and sunny. And so...
But it still doesn't feel like it's that warm.
No, it's the wind. With the wind chill, she's a little bit colder, which I feel like is a very Canadian thing to say. We are here today to do a top 10 video. It's been a little bit, probably since January, since we've done a top 10, so it's time. And today's top 10 video is going to be on our top 10 trick-taking games of all time. We did a true top 10. I made my own list. Jeff made his own list. For anybody that doesn't know, Jeff has been playing trick-taking games since he was a wee lad, a tiny tot, a little toddler, a little troublemaker, a little niño. And for me, Jeff introduced me to trick-taking games with Fox in the Forest.
Yeah,
And
like
I
2
am...
years ago?
What?
2 or 3 years ago?
Whenever we started the channel, basically. And I am getting more and more into the trick takers.
What's interesting is you say that about me.
Sure.
But like, even when we're doing a list, I haven't played a lot of them.
No, but you've been playing them for longer.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you understand the concept of trick-taking better than what I would say most people do, including me.
Yeah. I played a lot of Hearts.
Yeah.
Growing up.
I played a lot of Skippo.
Skippo's a great game. I don't care
Skippo
what
is
any...
a great game.
People,
I would love to play that again.
People poop on that game. But...
That was like, Skippo was the game that, like, I played.
Yeah, with Bev.
Hmm?
We used to play that with Bev.
No, I mean when I was growing up, when I was
What
little.
was the game we played with Bev? Was it Skippo?
Phase 10.
Oh, that's one. I'm not thinking of Skippo.
No.
I'm thinking of Phase 10.
Well, Skippo is great. Anyways, we have our prospective list. Do you have any honorable mentions or anything?
I think I deleted them. Oh, no.
No. Okay. I
do, but I don't. I'm not going to recall them off the top of my head. So.
I do want to give just a little shout out to board games that use trick-taking in them, but they're not necessarily trick-taking games. These are not going to appear on my list. I assume they're not going to appear on yours either, but
No.
Arcs would be one. It does have a trick-taking element within it. It does.
Very slight.
But it does. I'm not saying it's a trick-taking game. I'm saying these are games that have trick-taking elements in them.
Jamie's
shout out to
very
Arcs.
argumentative lately.
Shout out to Brian Baru.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree that has trick-taking in it?
Yes, that actually does, yes.
And actually, never mind. I was going to say shout out to Operation Barclay, but that's poker.
Yep.
Not trick-taking. So
Correct.
shout out to those two. Anyways, Jeff, with your little bit of sassy butt, why don't you go ahead and tell the people what your number 10 is?
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I was ranking like a top 10 of like maybe 25-ish played, 30 roughly. So people are going to be like, "Where?" I'm just
You're just anticipating the
people.
Nancy's.
Yeah, the people being like, "Where's this on your list? Why isn't this?" And
Okay,
I probably just
fine.
haven't played
Let's
it.
preface this. These are our lists from the games that we have played and the games that we enjoy.
It doesn't matter if you don't like them.
None of it matters.
My number 10 is a game I think I played the first time and I was like, oh boy, I did not get that at all. But the more I've played it, the more I'm not looking
I want you to peek.
at your stupid list.
Your little peeker face.
The more I've played it, the more I've gotten in tune with how, because it's one of those trick takers that you have to break trump in order to lead with trump.
Yeah.
And that is Cat in the Box.
Didn't make my list because I find it very confusing.
Yeah, it is confusing. There's like, again, you have to break trump in order to lead it, but there's also like an ever-changing dynamic of like what's more powerful than whatever.
Yeah.
I understand people that play that and they're like, that was just too much.
Yeah.
And I know multiple groups that have like set up to play that game, read the rules and be like, no.
Yeah.
It's a lot for a trick-taking game, but yeah, I enjoy it. So
it is fun.
It's my number 10 trick-taking game, Cat in the Box.
And our Cat in the Box cat doesn't fit on our new shelves, sadly. We'll have to put them on our big shelves when they get set up. Okay, number 10 for me, I don't know if it would have made Jeff's list. And this is a game that was introduced to us last year from our friend Charlie, who actually introduced us to quite a few trick-taking games.
Yep.
And this is a game called Potato Man. That was a fun noise that came out of your cough.
It's because I almost laughed. Potato Man's great. It's not on my list.
Potato Man is a game that I think
it's a game.
It's a game. It gets a lot of hate. I think it's really funny, and it's also easy for me to understand. Yeah. So basically, Potato Man's a trick-taking game where you are...
How many times do you think we're going to say it's a trick-taking game?
They're all trick-taking games where you are playing out tricks and you're trying to not run out of colors in your hand. Because as soon as you can't play on a color, then the round is going to end. And you're trying to collect different colors to score them. What's funny about this is Potato Man is one of the cards, and Potato Man beats the Fry villain, or whatever his name is. So, but that's like a really high card. So if you play that out and someone has a Potato Man, it's a really funny, very weird game where like all of the different suits are different kinds of potatoes. And I know that this is not a super well loved game, but I think it's really fun. It's silly.
I considered it. It was just outside my top 10, I think.
Yeah, I like it.
Number 9 on my list is a newer one to me. And it is a trick taker with a bit of a thematic dungeon crawl. It's not like a mechanically dungeon crawl. Thematic dungeon crawl. And that's called Torchlit.
I haven't played this one.
Torchlit is a pretty standard trick-taking game. But what's going to happen is... So in this trick-taking game, if you win the trick, you're going to move your meeple one space along what is essentially a dungeon. And there's like, I think 6 or 7 different spaces along this dungeon. And then the person that, I believe, played the lowest of the trick or something like that gets to place a card of a certain color on one of those spaces. Effectively, what's going to happen is at the end of the round, you're going to score points on where your meeple ends up in the dungeon, how many cards are in that area of the dungeon. And there's special cards like dragon cards that are going to be multipliers and stuff. But it's this really interesting tug and pull of like, you know, because if you get to the end of the dungeon, then you actually loop back. So people might, like if you're on a really lucrative spot where there's like 4 different cards that you're going to score off of, people want you to win the trick to make you move off of that space. But again, it's interesting because you're moving, but you're not the person putting cards out to score off of. So it's this really interesting mechanism of like, I'm going to move, but I don't want to move off of these spaces, and people aren't going to put cards where your meeples are. So you almost want to plan ahead and be like, okay, I think I can move 3 spaces. And there's also a torch card that you're going to play down. This is really important, actually. So in the last round, so you're going to put, when you're dealt out cards, you're going to put 1 torch card face down. And then at the last trick that you take, you can take one of those that card and then put a different one down. And what that's going to do is it's your guess of where you think you're going to end up in the dungeon. And if you get it right, then you get another multiplier, or you get like an additional 2 points or something. So again, you kind of want to plan out like, well, I think I'm going to move like 4. I'm going to win like 4 tricks. So I think I'm going to end up on the 4th space. And you're planning that out in order to make that happen. It's really, really great. I think it'd be higher if I played it more.
I like to play it. My number 9 is Power Vacuum. I assume that is probably going to be on Jeff's list as well.
It is on my list.
So this one, we've only gotten to play the prototype version, but I don't think the actual game has changed much since we played it. And we did a live stream of this and everything. And basically, like, you're playing out tricks in this, and it's like different, like, retro household items that you're playing out. Appliances. And you are trying to win in order to build statues. You're trying to build out a statue faster than anybody else, basically, by winning these tricks. And it also has a bit of like an area control thing where you're moving like these poles.
They're
almost
power cords, I believe.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. They're power cords. And that is almost determining like Trump, and it's determining a bunch of other things.
Yeah, and so I'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Anyways, it's really unique. It's really interesting and
very hard to find.
Very hard to find. Yeah, it was on Kickstarter, which I believe it's like fulfilling now. I don't know if it's going to retail or whatever, but
I don't think so. Charlie just got his copy.
Oh, really?
And I emailed them asking for a copy, and they were like, "We don't have any."
Yeah. So, anyways, it's super, super fun. Luckily, I think we still have the prototype.
All right, next one up on my list is another one that I think would be much, much higher if I played it more. Jamie has not played this game. We have an alternate version of this game that we have not played yet, and I know that if Jamie played this, she would. This might.
Is it cute?
It might compete for Jamie's favorite trick taker. And this game is called Trick Takers.
Aptly named.
Yep. We do have
King's Trick Takers.
There is an alternate version which I think is a little bit more complex and more difficult to play, and that's called King's Trick Takers, which we have not played. Mm-hmm. Trick Takers is a pretty straightforward trick-taking game, mechanism-wise, but it has some asymmetry in it. So before each round, and there's certain determinations on how you're going to draft, but there's a character draft, and each one of these characters are asymmetric. So, for example, one of the characters is like the Berserker, and what happens with the Berserker if you take them is you're actually going to discard your hand and take the Berserker's hand, and he has all of the most powerful cards. Oh. And you might be like, well, then you're just going to win every trick. That might not be ideal in this game, just for reference. There's other characters that's like, one's like a gambler, I think, so you can like bid on how many you think you're going to win, and then you're going to score points based off of like if you're right or if you're wrong. There's a whole bunch of different ones. There's like the king that's always out. But anyway, you're going to start each round, or each round by drafting one of these characters in a certain order. And where it gets really interesting is someone might draft something early, and the Berserker might be a really good counter to that character. So then if I'm drafting last and no one's taking the Berserker, I'd be like, well, I'm going to take Berserker because I might nullify that one character. Right. And then again, it just comes down to how your character is going to score points based off of how many tricks you win or lose. And it's kind of got a little bit of Skull King in it, where certain suits trump all the other colors.
Oh, okay, yeah. And there's like a hierarchy.
And then, there's a hierarchy, and then some characters will trump the trump suit. But there's also cards that flip that hierarchy. So then the weakest cards are then the highest.
Right, yeah.
It's pretty wild, but I think it would probably be my top 3 if I had played it more.
I want to play it. We should get a copy. My number 8 is a game that is very hard to find in North America. It is a German game, and it is called Null and Nichtig. Did this make your list?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in Null and Nichtig, this might be the meanest trick-taking game.
I say it's objectively the meanest.
It is objectively the meanest, but it is super duper fun. So, basically, you are trying to win different colors, but your score is going to be the lowest number of that color, of each color. So, what is going to happen for this game as you are playing cards is you are going to start throwing cards in a pile to screw other people over to get them to have a worse score. And that's basically the game. You're like playing out tricks, and you're trying to get all of the different colors, but you're trying to get your score to be the best of everybody else's, while other people are going to be throwing cards at you. So this is a game that I do find that people either love or hate.
You have to play with the right crew.
Yeah, you have to play with the right crew, because if people don't like mean games, they're not going to like this game. Yep. But when we first played it at GaggleCon with Rodney and Christy, and we had a great time. It was super fun, and I really like this. So,
all right, next up for me, my number 7 it was introduced to me last year. Took the world by storm a little bit. I haven't heard much about it recently, and that is Fishing, or Fishing in English. Fishing is another trick taker, shocker, that has pretty standard trick taking rules, but there is a ocean deck. And what's going to happen in this game is, as you are winning or losing tricks, when you go to refill your hand, you're going to refill your hand from your draw deck. But if you don't have cards in your draw deck, you then get to draw from the ocean deck.
Yeah, if you don't have enough.
And so if you don't have enough cards, you're going to start filling your hand from the ocean deck. And the ocean deck is lucrative because as you go down in the ocean deck, the cards get more and more powerful or stronger and stronger and stronger. So you want to be drawing from the ocean deck. But what happens is once you start drawing from the ocean deck and adding those into your hand, you want to keep those cards. Yeah. So again, for every trick you win, that's going to be more cards you can draw. But you actually want to, early game, lose tricks so that you can draw from the ocean deck. Mm-hmm. But what happens is once you lose those ocean cards, they are then in circulation. Mm-hmm. Someone else has those cards. And it's this really interesting tug and pull of when to draw from the ocean card or ocean deck, when to win tricks in order to score points, because you still have to win. You can't just not win any tricks just to keep pulling from the ocean deck because you're not going to score any points. It's this really interesting, like, when is the right time for me to start winning tricks to score points? Because if you do it early, you're not going to have any ocean cards, and everyone's just going to start winning tricks on you later game. It's very, very, very good, and another one I want to play much, much more, but I very much enjoy it.
My number 7 is going to be The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, the trick-taking game.
I love that every time.
You have to say the whole name.
Say the whole thing.
That's the whole thing. So this is a trick-taking game that follows the story of the Fellowship of the Ring, the first in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, from what
the second best of the trilogy.
Second best of the trilogy. Now, from what I believe is, yes, they are in fact making the other two, but they're just not out yet.
They are? I don't know if I knew that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
I learned about that at Gamma. This game is very similar to The Crew, which is a game that we don't love. But
guess what's not on my list?
The Crew.
The Crew.
The reason why we prefer this one is because you are kind of like playing out tricks through a story, and everybody's going to be assigned a character, and that character has their own goals that you are trying to achieve. So, like, Frodo typically has to win X amount of tricks with rings in them. Mm-hmm. Or this person can't win any tricks. Or this person has to win 3 or less. Or 1 exactly, whatever it might be. So at the beginning of that chapter, everybody picks their character. And then in order to win, you have to fulfill everybody's objectives, which I prefer over something that's a little bit less thematic, like, you need to win 5 tricks because of space. The Crew.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jeff and I got to play this, but then I got to play some of the later chapters at Gamma with Nick, Mike, and Max. Mm-hmm. I am bad at this game. I am bad at these, like, The Crew, ones. Yeah. Like, all of these games, but this one's just fun because it's a familiar story, and I like the fact that you have, like, your job based on your character, and you're looking around at everybody else who's kind of looking at you being like, well, I can't win, because you know, there is a little bit of limited communication in these games, which is always kind of interesting. But I really like this one. Of all of the games that are within this realm, this is my preferred.
That's interesting. It's not on my list. I think it's just outside.
Yeah.
I would say the thing I like most about it is the cooperative nature of it. The objectives match the thematic character. Yeah. Which I enjoy. Next one up for me is the highest cooperative trick taker on my list. Mm-hmm. It is not Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, the trick taking game. Mm-hmm. I prefer my trick takers to be non-cooperative. Sure. I want to win in a trick taking game.
I want to win.
But this one has risen to the cream of the cooperative crop. And that is the inside job.
I thought you were going to say the cream of the crop.
And I think the reason why it has is because it's semi-co-op. Mm-hmm. You can get a role in this game. So in Inside Job, you are cooperatively trying to win dossiers, I think they're called, or gain intel. Mm-hmm. And this game can end one of 2 ways. Well, yeah, basically.
It probably depends on the scenario.
Yeah, one of 2 ways. It depends on the characters that come out. But ultimately, there's going to be a group of people that are trying to get, like, say, 7 dossiers or intel. And they do that by winning tricks. Yep. If you win a trick, you get an intel, and you set it to the side. However, at the beginning of the game, everyone's going to be dealt a role. And those roles, in the base game, there's always, I think, the possibility of one hidden traitor.
Oh, yeah, always one.
And that hidden traitor is trying to basically sabotage the intel, but not being identified as being the saboteur. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like. I like playing against the group, which makes sense.
But not knowing who's playing against the group.
But you're not knowing. And it's traditional trick-taking. Each round there's going to be a case file that you're trying to achieve, and it might be like, hey, the lowest number is actually going to win this trick. And everyone needs to like cooperatively figure out how that's going to work. And then the saboteur is trying to either play along so people don't guess that they're trying to blow up these tricks or blow up the trick. And this game comes with a ton of different like asymmetrical agents that you can be, cooperative, good ones and bad ones. I very much like Inside Job, and it's by far my favorite cooperative trick-taking experience. But with the caveat that it's because you can play against the group.
Yeah. My number 6 is definitely not going to be on Jeff's list. That is Rebel Princess from Bezier Games. I've gotten to play this one actually quite a bit more than you because I played it without you during the Gameathon. I played it without you at Level Up, and I just...
Playing a lot of games without me, Jamie.
It do be like that sometimes. So Rebel Princess is kind of a modern take on spades. I think it's either spades or hearts. It's one of them.
It's hearts.
The new version that's coming out then will be spades. So in this game, you are playing as a princess, which is going to give you some kind of an asymmetrical ability that you can use once per round. You're playing over a series of rounds, and every round you are going to be passing cards to somebody else, and it's going to tell you which way, and then there's going to be some kind of a rule that's introduced for that round. Then you are playing a standard trick-taking game, and this does have one of the things where you can't play princess until that has been broken, suit has been broken.
Trump,
You are trying to have the lowest score possible, and the way that you're getting points is through those princes. The princesses do not want to marry the princess.
Yeah, they're rebels.
They're ding-dongs. And
the princes are.
Yeah. Obviously. There is one frog prince that has a bunch of like points that you could score if you get stuck with them, but I just love this game. I think it's really interesting. It does have an issue that can happen where one person gets ganged up on.
Remember?
They did?
Remember? People were telling us that?
Oh, I don't know.
In the newest iteration. Now if you get all the frogs, you score.
Oh, that's in this as well.
We didn't play it that way.
Yeah. I've played it that way. Like, if you are the only person to get all of the princess and skulls and nobody else has one, then you will score 0 points. It's really hard to do.
Shooting the moon in hearts.
Essentially, yeah. So I don't know. I really like it. The only thing that sometimes, like, some of the princesses, I don't find that their skills are very helpful, or at least not for me, because I don't know how to use them effectively.
So is that a you problem?
It's a me problem. But I'm really excited because there's going to be a zombie version of this coming. Blaines. Yeah, I love it.
Next up on my list is a 2-player trick-taking game. There's only a couple that I could think of that I think deserve to be on this list. The other one didn't make the list. I think you can maybe play this at higher than 2 as well. But it plays really well at 2, which is rare for trick-taking games. And that is Claim.
2-player only.
Thought so. In Claim, you are playing 2 rounds. And in your first round, you are effectively trying to build up your hand of cards for round 2. And then whoever wins round 2 basically wins the game. And what you're doing is you want to shed your weakest cards to the other player for the next round, but you want to gain their best cards.
Yeah.
It's like this amalgamation of like war and trick-taking, which is really interesting. So there's like goblins and knights and all of these things. And they have, again, varying degrees of power. So what you're trying to do in round 1 is set yourself up for success in round 2, and then whoever wins round 2 wins the game. Again, the fact that you can deliver on a very, very good 2-player only trick-taking experience is pretty rare, and I think Claim did it incredibly well.
And there's a bunch of versions, and you can play it on BGA. Okay, my number 5, Jeff's already talked about, and that's Inside Job. I love Inside Job. I love how sneaky it is. I'm bad at it because, once again, if you don't understand trick-taking games that well, then people will guess that it's me. And if you guess who the hidden traitor is in this game, I believe the other players will win.
Yeah,
like you get extra points or something like that. I just love how it's like you get dealt the cards that you have. That's just what you have. And then the rule will come up saying, okay, this round you can only play blue cards. You must play a blue card if you have it. And as the traitor, you don't have to follow the suit, basically. So like I might play a pink card. Oh, I don't have any blue cards. But then 3 rounds later, You might notice I play a blue card and then
traitor.
Yeah, exactly. But people have to be paying attention to what everybody is doing. Mm-hmm. This was like one of our go-to con games a few years ago. We used to take it to all the cons, and it's just fun because it's super. We discovered it at a con. We did, yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was like totally random mm-hmm. that we found it, and yeah, it's just a great game. It's really easy to teach. If people understand trick taking in mm-hmm. general, it's pretty easy. And we haven't like played a lot of the further down scenarios. We usually just play like the base stuff because we're playing with a bunch of people. But yeah, I love it. I think it's excellent.
Inside Job's great. Next up on my list is number 4. Jamie's already talked about it, and that is Power Vacuum. A couple things Jamie missed. I didn't mean that in a negative way.
What an idiot.
When you start a game of Power Vacuum, you're actually going to bid on like a color that's around this board. And what you're going to be doing is playing out tricks in order to control that board, in order to move tokens from one region to another. Mm-hmm. And those regions are basically points. So as Jamie mentioned, there's like the power chord, and it's going to be touching all of these different quadrants, and you're going to move things from one end of the power chord to the other, mm-hmm. And effectively score points. You can then turn those points in to build your statue. Yeah. I love Power Vacuum. I very much need to find a copy of it.
It feels really unique, doesn't it?
It felt very unique. And I remember the first, so we did get to cover it before it came out, mm-hmm. and we played a prototype, and I remember playing it being like, this thing is absolutely incredible. Mm-hmm. And it was, I think, more successful than they thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, maybe a good problem to have. There's really not many copies you can find of this game because it is so good, and everyone wanted to buy it, as they should. But we can't find a copy, and I really want to add it to the collection because mm-hmm. it's one of the best trick takers I've ever played.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's great. All right, my number 4, Jeff's already talked about, and that is Claim. I got to play Claim when we went to go visit Tyler and Ilya forever ago, and then immediately I went and bought a copy. Yeah. Because it is a really unique trick-taking game, and there's like a bunch of versions and expansions that you can get for it, and because it's a 2-player trick-taking game, I'm like, oh, well, this is perfect for us, because it has a little bit more meat to it than something like Fox in the Forest, which was like the only 2-player trick-taking game that we had played up to that point. And I love the spooky vibes. I'm not going to say what it's about. The chef's already explained it, but I love the spooky vibes of it. I love the artwork. I love everything. I just think it's fantastic. And it's just like a little card game.
Yeah, it's great. My number 3, I think, might shock Jamie a little bit that it's not higher. Maybe it should be higher.
If you're going to say what I think you're about
It's one of those games that every time I play it, I'm like, this is the best game ever. Like, literally the best game ever. My number 3 is Skull King.
Jeff, that's egregious. This is egregious.
It does feel egregious, but I think it's right. What the heck is even above it? I think it's right. Skull King is a incredible party-esque trick-taking game with hierarchy in terms of suit power. So there's colored suits, which are the lowest rank. Then there's black trump cards that are trumping the color suits. Then there's mermaids, and then there's pirates, and I'm probably getting that order wrong, and then there's a Skull King. There's also extra cards you can throw in, like a Kraken card. So when you throw the Kraken card in, it just blows up the trick and nobody wins it. Why this game is unique is because before each round, and it's rounds 1 to 10, and the rounds are going to dictate how many tricks are in each round. So in round 1, there's 1 trick. In round 10, there's 10 tricks. Before each round, you're going to bid on how many tricks you think you're going to win, and you're going to score points based off of your bid. So if I was in round 2 and I bid that I was going to win 1 trick, and I did win 1 trick, I'm going to score 10 points. 10 points per trick. There's other ways to gain points. Some of the cards have additional bonus points you'll score if they're in your trick at the end of the round. But one of the things you can always do is bid 0. And that's where things get really spicy. Because if you bid 0, you're going to score 10 times the round number. So if I bid 0 in round 10,
and you win 0,
and I win 0, or don't get any tricks, I'm going to score 100 points. So
hard to do.
10 times 10, 100. However, if you bid 0 in any of the rounds and you don't get 0, you're going to score that amount in the negative. So in round 10, if I bid 0 and I get 1 trick, I'm scoring negative 100 points. Skull King is always a blast. I think it plays best at 5
Yeah, the more the merrier.
The more the merrier in this game, and really getting into it and being like, yo, ho, ho, before you bid.
Yeah.
If you don't do all of that stuff, if you're playing Skull King silently, it's not going to hit. I know a lot of people that have played this game and be like, I don't get it. And I'm like, well, how'd you play it? I'm like, did you do yo, ho, ho? Did you get into it? And they're like, no. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's not going to be that great.
Juno hates this game.
The rowdiness of this game is where I think it shines. And every time I play Skull King, I just fall in love with it all over again. And I do think it's probably a bit egregious that it's number 3, but I just think the 2 above it I prefer to play in ideal situations. And I'm not going to apologize for it.
I have no idea what your top 2 are. My number 3, Jeff has already talked about, and it is a newer game, and I've gotten to play this one a few more times than you. Also, because I played this at, where were we? PAX? It must have been PAX without you, because you had gone to bed. And
checks out.
That is Fishing. Friedman Freeze, trick-taking game. Jeff's already talked about it. I just this is a trick-taking game that I played in the last year that made me say, and I often do say this with trick-taking games, how do they keep making them so different?
It's wild.
Because there really isn't anything that I've played that's quite like Fishing, because the balance between winning and losing tricks is so interesting, because like Jeff said, if you're winning too early, then you're filling your hand up with really poopy cards, and then you're going to start losing a bunch.
Yep.
And every round you are scoring points, and so you need to be mindful of that, to be like, okay, well, I didn't score any points this round, so maybe the next round I'll try to win, and then you do, and then you end up with a bunch of bad cards, and then you lose, and then you it's wild, because that ocean deck, it gets quite lucrative.
It does.
As you continue to go through it, because it's stacked in a very particular way.
Yeah.
These cards are going to come up at this layer, then these cards will come up at this layer. These excellent cards. So anyways, it's really, really interesting. Just in general, we love Friedman Freeze.
Yeah.
Friedman Freeze, it's your boy. He out here making great games. And I think it's awesome, and I love it.
Yeah, it's great. My number 2, Jamie has already talked about. It is the meanest trick-taking game on the planet, and that is Null Nishtig.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into it again. Jamie kind of alluded to most of it, but yeah, you're trying to get piles in front of you. And what is interesting is you have to pick up the cards in the order they were played.
That's right.
So if there's a trick in front of you and the last card played is a 0, you have to take that card first. And that becomes important or you have to take it in reverse order or something like that. That becomes important because you're only going to score of what's in front of you, that number. So if you have 5 different colors and they're all 0s, you're going to score 0 points. So you can see what people are scoring. And so, Jamie might be across from me and she's got a 7 purple. And I'm like, I can't let her score that 7 purple. I might try and throw a 0 purple into a trick I know she's going to win, so that she then has to cover her 7 with a 0. And it is so mean. You will get.
It's not must follow.
No,
which makes it even meaner.
You will get. It is.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure it is, because you want to throw off so you can start. I think, I can't remember, but you will be targeted in this game. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but that's the whole point. Yeah. The whole point is to be targeted. Very hard to find. We are lucky to have a copy, but it is very, 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 very group dependent.
My number 2 is a new to me game that I am currently now addicted to. And it is a solo trick-taking game called For Northwood. Yeah. I've had this sitting on my shelf since BGG Spring. That's when I bought it. So it's been about a year.
To be fair, there's been so many people that keep being like, you need to play this. You need to play this.
And then finally I did play it.
And you were like, you were right.
Instantly addicted. So this is a solo trick-taking game where you are putting out, there are 8 different fiefs from 0 to 7.
Thieves or fiefs?
Fiefs, like fiefdoms. And you are trying to win over as many of those fiefs as you can by playing out tricks. So as an example, you're going to get 8 cards. You're going to look at your hand. I think I could possibly, with this hand, win 3 tricks. So I'm going to go to number 3 on the fiefdom. And then there's a deck, and you're just going to be drawing for the AI player. And then you just have to try and beat them, and you have to try and score exactly the amount of tricks for that fief. And you have 4 ally cards that you can use. and they can help you like maybe redraw cards or get rid of all the trump cards in your hand or do a bunch of different things. And anytime that you win one of those fiefs, the ruler of that fief may now be substituted in for one of your allies, and they all have different powers. It is so good, but it is so difficult to win. It's on BGA, and I've just been playing on BGA just to be like, because you just play solo, you're like, what am I? It's hard. It's so cute. I love it. It is now going to be a go-to travel game for me, and just a go-to like, hey, I'm kind of bored. I might play a game.
Yeah.
I pulled it out and showed it to Jeff the other day because I was just so excited about it. And I love it. 10 out of 10.
My number one, I don't understand why Jamie can't think of this game or why it would be my number one. But that is Chicken Snipers.
Oh, yeah, obviously, of course.
I've played so much.
Didn't make my list.
So much. What?
Didn't make my list. Honorable mention.
Chicken Snipers is a incredibly fast trick-taking game. It is a race to 2 points, and the only way to win points in this game, doesn't matter how many tricks you win, even though that is the tiebreaker, the only way to score points in this game is to win a trick with a 7 in it, or offsetting...
or Snipe 13.
I know, I need to explain how it works, though.
It's tough to explain, but it's not complicated.
You need to offset the winning card of the suit and make it add to 13. Yeah. So, let's just say, for example, I was last in the trick, and it has to be off suit.
Yes.
It can't be of the same suit of the card that you're trying to add up to 13 with. So let's just say, I can't remember the colors in the game. Let's
pink
say...
and blue. Just use pink and blue.
Pink and blue, sure. So let's say I'm last in the trick, and it was a blue suited trick. And Jamie went last and played a 12. And she was going to win the trick. I didn't have a blue, but I had a pink 1. I could play the pink 1. Jamie's 12 and my 1, since it's off suited, and her card's going to win the trick, adds up to 13. I then snipe that trick and score a point.
Yep.
Those are the only 2 ways you can score points in this game.
Mm-hmm.
First person to score 2 points wins the game. It can be played in 5 minutes. I've taught and played this game. It's probably one of my most played physical games of the last 6 months by far. I bring it to I bring it to every convention because it is so. I'm like, you got 10 minutes. I've got 10 minutes. Let's play this game.
And usually you'll play a couple rounds.
We could play a couple rounds of 10 minutes. It's great. It's hard to find. It. Luckily, my friend Max over Tabletop gifted us a copy of this when he visited. There's no North American release of this yet.
No, I assume there will be.
But it is by Mob Plus, who does Nana and that sort of thing. But I love Chicken Snipers. I just think it's a perfect trick-taking con experience in such a small little package.
Yeah. I also think it's a great game. But because it's such a quick little game, I just... didn't make my list. My number one is Skull King. Yeah. I just think Skull King is pure fun. And I have played this game with people who don't like it and who don't think it's fun. And you know what I have to say to that?
You're no fun.
Exactly. No offense. But this game is so fun and you get so rowdy. There are certain games that you must be rowdy for. Fuji Flush.
Yep.
Skull King.
Yep.
Camel Up.
Yep.
If you don't play these types of games in this particular way, you're not going to have as much fun. But we get into it, we do yo, ho, and you're yelling while you're doing that. You're banging the table. Juno is hiding in the basement. That's how much fun you're having. Juno hates fun.
I love throwing down that Kraken card.
Yeah, and
someone bids 0 and they're like, oh. Or no, someone bids whatever, and you're like, haha.
You blow up the trick with the Kraken. And it has those big moments and those big downs.
Swingy moments. Yeah.
Very, very swingy.
You're never out of the game, though.
No.
Because you can always bid 0 and catch up.
Exactly. It's it's a great time every time.
It is.
And there's apparently a dice version of this game that Hachette's re-releasing, and there's an older version of it, but I'm excited to try that as well.
Charlie was telling me this is based off of an older game called Oh Hell, which that makes sense. There's some changes to it and stuff, but I guess it's similar to this old game called Oh Hell.
So those are our top 10. I did want to shout out just a few more that we maybe didn't talk about because we haven't played them.
Jamie can't do a list without honorable mentions.
Can't. But Tichu is one that I just wanted to...
I considered it. Haven't played it enough.
I wanted to shout it out. We've only played it once with Rodney and Christy, but this is a team-based... trick-taking game, which is it was really interesting, and it's like a classic. 5 Cucumbers is also one that we love, but people bounce off of it pretty
I can see why.
Easily. But this is one where you want to lose tricks. Yeah. Because if you win tricks, you get pickles, aka cucumbers. Yeah. Another one is Fool, which I think is really fun.
I like Fool a lot.
I like Fool a lot.
It was on my short list.
If you lose a trick, you become the fool, and you get these tokens and stuff. And then we also, the last one is Robo Trick. Now, we've only played this once, but you have to play it with 3 players.
Yeah, it's 3 player only.
You can't play it any less or any more. And then there's like a robot character that plays.
AI, yeah.
And it's really unique and really interesting, but we just haven't played enough because it's hard to just have 3 players.
Yeah, that was on my short list as well. But I want to experience it again because Charlie did mention that we possibly played the AI robot a bit wrong. So I want to play it again.
Yeah. But anyways, those are just some more honorable mentions. Of course, as always, we'd love to know what are some of your favorite trick-taking games in the comments below. We have so many more that we haven't played. Like, we picked up a couple, like that Trick Shot game.
There's so many.
And there's just so many. Like,
yeah, we have a bunch of
trick-taking games, so hot right now.
They are. We have so many Asian trick-takers, like Trick Shot, the pool one.
Yeah.
I think we got 4 or 5 others that we bought in the same little bundle.
Yes, we did. So we have more to try. So who knows? The next time we do this list, it might be totally different. Who's to say? But that is everything that we have for you today. Now, if you're interested in buying board games like any of the trick takers that we talked about today, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that is...
the Boardroom Game Cafe.
Exactly. I would also love to give a shout out to our monthly sponsor for the month of April, and that is Only Then Studios. They have Darkleaf Gambit coming to Kickstarter next month. We're going to have some coverage on it coming up soon, but I'm going to have all the links and everything that you need to know in the description below. Definitely go and check it out, and shout out to Only Then Studios for sponsoring the month of April. And if you like what you see,
please subscribe.
We hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later it is.
Do you know what's been happening a lot?
What, Jamie?
My laptop just been shutting itself off, and then
this is how Jamie begins the
I need a new
laptop.
For a new laptop.
Isn't that one new?
Yeah, it's not that old. What did I get this?
Well, because you never shut it off, ever.
No.
Yeah, you never close all of your stuff.
Nope.
You never restart it. You don't update it.
It restarts itself now. That's its new favorite thing to do.
Yeah, it's not the laptop. It's you. Sorry.
Even if I'm the problem, it's me.
Yeah.
It still might need to be replaced soon.
Why?
I don't know, Jeff. This is just the way the world works. I don't have answers for everything. I got to get my list. It's always so tough when we're upside down. But that is recording. And that is recording. We are here.
Is there tape on that side of the TV? See the bottom bar?
Oh, yeah, I mustn't have peeled it off. Just side note, did I tell you about that? Oh, I gotta plug the camera in. We don't want that to die, do we? Did I tell you about that video that I saw about the weather app?
No.
Where the guy's like, what's the weather today? And the app goes, it's 15, but it feels like 8. And
Weird.
And it's like, okay, well, is it going to rain today? For sure. Definitely. It's just really funny because that's what it is like using a weather app. Anyways, did we already start?
Yep.
Okay.
Why am I so low?
I don't know.
I feel like
well, first of all, my chair is up higher and I'm sitting on my foot.
What button is it? What one is it?
This one.
Oh, that's better. I felt like I was like...
You're just you're a little baby Jeff. Baby Jeffrey.
Trick and Sniper. Ugh, I'm so offended. Ugh.